Hello, my beautiful people. It is your favorite, amazing, intelligence, genius, all-round, best ever historian that ever did it, Dr. Catel. And I'm here to share my little gems of wisdom with you. This is me, minding my own business, sitting on the bus, just going out, living life, living large. Then suddenly somebody stopped me on the bus. Dr. Catel, we saw that you spoke about the Nok culture in your first video, but you didn't really go into detail. You just mentioned them briefly, and that was it. Like we're supposed to know what they mean. Can't you at least explain it? I was like, I didn't explain it. My bad. Let me explain it to you. So that's what this video is about, to explain the Nok culture. What is the Nok culture? The Nok culture is a civilization that was around from around 1000 BCE all the way to 500 CE. Now, how they disappeared, we don't really know. It's very, very mysterious. We just know that they were there one minute, the next minute they weren't there. However, what we do know about the Nok culture is the fact that they had amazing terracotta sculptures. And these sculptures were really finely detailed, very nicely done. You can see that there was a lot of craftsmanship with the hair, a lot of pattern in the hair. They would do sculptures of faces, sculptures of males and females, even sculptures of a male riding a horse, and everything was nicely detailed. They would highlight certain things, so we know that these guys were a civilized culture. These sculptures are highly valued on the international arts markets. Man, if you see the prices they go for, they're all over the world and they're highly valued. Nobody truly knows what the sculptures were used for. There are a bunch of theories. Some people say they were grave markers, they were for ancestors' portrayal, or they were charms for the field and for crop. And some people even say maybe they were just architecture, like a final piece to put on a roof, like a beauty ornaments. But like I said, we don't really know, so nobody can be entirely sure. The few things that we were able to gather about the Nok culture is the fact that they made these amazing sculptures, and also that they cultivated millets and cowpeas. Those were two things that were found by the archaeologists. They also found little stones, not little stones, but they found stones that archaeologists are guessing that they probably used the stones to grind the millet and the cowpeas together and probably ate it as a type of porridge. As for the animals they had back then, we can't really say for sure. We can only take guesses. This is because the soil around the area of the Nok civilization is quite acidic. So all the remains of animals or bones that we would have otherwise found could not be found. There is no evidence to support the kind of animals that they had with them. However, we do know that they definitely had horses, because they had a sculpture of a man sitting on a horse. That showed that they must have had horses. And if they had horses, it's very likely that they had other animals. The sculpture was first discovered in the 1920s during tin mining operation in the area that the Nok culture used to exist. The first one was discovered by an archaeologist and taken back. The second one was discovered by a clerk who took it and used it as a scarecrow to scare away animals from his field. And he just did that job for a year before someone actually came and said, "Ooh, this thing looks pricey. Let's check it out." I'm joking, they didn't really say that. But someone came and saw it and they were like, "This looks like a work of ancient people. It looks like an archaeological work." Around the 1970s, when people realized that there was a lot more of these sculptures hiding in the archaeological grounds, there was a lot of heavy looting and illegal trading of these sculptures. Scavengers, both from Nigeria and from other countries, looted and harvested these sculptures in order to sell it to international buyers. Now, Nigeria tried to do something. So what they did was created another council, which had an acronym. By the way, when we get properly into Nigerian history, you will see that there was an abundance of acronyms. But this entity that they created was called the National Commissions of Museums and Monuments, otherwise known as the NCMM. Now, the NCMM created Decree number 77. And you know what number 77 tells you? It says it is illegal for unauthorized personnel to dig up, buy, and sell antique goods. Now, as you know, is one thing saying the law, is another thing enforcing it. And as we know, Nigeria he was quite corrupt. So let's face the facts. They decreed this thing, but it didn't really solve anything. I don't think anybody really paid attention. First of all, they would have to get the manpower to enforce this law. Second of all, the people that wanted to enforce the law themselves, we have to make sure they're not corrupt. So it didn't go as planned, if I'm being honest. They kept on digging, they kept on harvesting. Yeah, it was bad. In fact, it was so bad that the NCMM found that since 2005, 90% of all the Nok Culture archaeological sites have been looted illegally. It has been devastated, it has been demolished, it has been poskapa. They have finished it. And over 1,000 terracotta sculptures have been illegally smuggled to Europe, Japan, America, and many other international countries. So if you want to see Nok Culture sculptures today, don't be surprised if you go into some rich man's house somewhere in Texas and you see a Nok Culture sculpture hanging on his wall, or you're in Japan and you go into some high-rise building and dealing with some business mogul and you realize that, oh, that's a Nok Culture sculpture sitting on his desk. Don't be surprised. It might happen. Or you walk into a museum somewhere in London, like Killmonger from Black Panther, and you see a sculpture in that museum and you're like, hey, isn't this one of our Nok Culture sculptures? It might very well be, and it might very well be there, and it might very well have been stolen legally. No, we don't get vibranium for Africa, sorry. So this is just a quick summary of the Nok culture and what we know about them, but there's also a quick summary of the hidden gems that are in Nigeria that many of us are not aware of, or we are not aware of how valuable our history is, and we just, damage it and loot it, make money. But hey, you can't blame the people. If the government acts right, the people won't have to do what they're doing.